Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Judge Patricia Waisra towards awarding costs and damage to the applicants, since this was a public interest litigation case and for court to do so, this will be unjust to the applicants. The applicants wrote to Uganda Registration Services Bureau to register their organization on the 28th of November 2012. On 12th December 2012, the Bureau declined to register the organization.
At least 10 people have died in a fatal accident at Butema Village, Muwayo Town Council, along Bojiri Toro Road in Bojiri District, just a few meters away from Chivimba Bridge. The accident happened after a taxi registration number UAW 963M from Busia bound for Bujiri collided with a molasses truck heading to the same direction as it was attempting to overtake late last night. This burnt-out truck is among the 6 vehicles that got involved in a road accident that occurred along Bujiri Toro Road at Butema Village, Muwayo Town Council. Other vehicles involved in the same accident include 2 taxis registration numbers UAW 963M and UAV 597N, a Land Cruiser registration number KDH 407T, together with 2 trucks registration number KBY 526G and ZD 2671. They were towed to Muwayo Police Station. Onlookers at the scene of the accident say the incident happened when a taxi registration number UAW 963M from Busia heading to Bujiri collided with a molasses truck as it attempted to overtake. 10 people have been confirmed dead and 1 other seriously injured. Road users attribute accident occurrences to lack of accident mitigation measures on the road. Well, that brings us to the end of our local news, but we still have more with Chantal Olive in international news.
Well, on the international scene, keeping you updated with what is happening in most parts, we'll start with starvation being used as a weapon of war in Gaza. The European Union's foreign policy chief has claimed. Joseph Borrell described the lack of aid entering the territory as a man-made disaster. The Spanish ship carrying desperately needed food supplies has left Cyprus for Gaza, but the UN says this cannot replace the delivery of aid by land. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has meanwhile vowed to press on with the offensive in southern Gaza. The quickest, most effective way to get aid into the territory is by road, but aid agencies by Israeli restrictions mean a fraction of what is needed is getting in. Attention has instead shifted towards the alternative routes, including sea and airdrops. Israel says it is not to blame for Gaza's food shortages, as it is allowing aid through 2 crossings in the south. But addressing the UN Security Council, in New York on Tuesday, Mr. Borrell said the humanitarian crisis in the territory was as a result of a lack of viable land routes. We are now facing a population fighting for their own survival, he said. Humanitarian assistance needs to get into Gaza, and the European Union is working as much as we can in order to make it possible. Away from that, a Russian missile has hit 2 apartment buildings in central Ukrainian city Kryvyi, killing 3 people and injuring at least 38, with rescue teams shifting through rubble in a nighttime search for survivors. The governor of the region put provisional injury toll from the attack on Tuesday at 28 adults and 10 children. 2 buildings were hit, 1 5 stories, 1 9 stories, according to the statement on Telegram. The number of injured is constantly rising, as is the number of children injured. Video of the scene showed a blaze that erupted at the top of one apartment block and rescue teams carrying the injured out of shattered building entrances. The emergency services and residents who care are rescuing residents blocked in their apartments and are continuing to search for anyone who might be under the rubble, Interior Minister wrote. 4 people have already been rescued. Ukraine's President Zelensky, who was born and raised in Krevire, said on Telegram that such operations will continue as long as they are needed. Now coming back to Africa, soldiers from Sudan's army have recaptured the headquarters of the state broadcaster in Omdurman, the city just across the Nile from the capital Khartoum, the army has said. This is a symbolic breakthrough for the army in its 11-month civil war with the Rapid Support Forces. The RSF had held the headquarters since just after fighting broke out. The conflict in Sudan has led 8 million people to flee their homes, and there are warnings of growing hunger. Videos being shared on social media show soldiers celebrating outside the state broadcaster in Omdurman. In a statement, the army called it a major victory, but despite taking the building last April, the RSF had not been able to transmit from it, and state television continued to show pro-army content, which was broadcast from elsewhere in the country. Lastly, speaking matters climate, the industry experts say the price of bananas globally is very likely to rise due to the impact of climate change, but some believe paying more for bananas now could mitigate those risks. Industry leaders and academics gathered this week in Rome for the World Banana Forum issued warning over the impact climate change is having on production and supply chains on a global scale. But some also suggested that the price hikes on grocery store shelves now could help prepare the countries where the fruit is grown to deal with the impact of the warming climate. As temperatures increase beyond optimal levels for banana growth, there is a heightened risk of low yields. Dan Deba, the British professor who is one of the leading academics on sustainable agriculture and crop pathogens, told CBS News yesterday in Rome. That's it for climate news and what is happening in some parts of the world.
Well, it's sad news about the bananas. I hope we don't have to get through a point where we cannot afford to buy bananas here in Uganda.
You might think it is good news.
Really?
It is good news.
How is it good news?
One of the things is that our farmers produce so much, but the challenge they have had has always been market. So when you look at the region, bananas are some of the things that we grow huge numbers. Go to the western part of it. So if the price increases, yes, they're flooded, then the farmer, if we plan very well, stands to benefit.
Okay, let's see how that rolls out. But for now, Jerome Paul is taking us through the press review.
And well, of course, kicking it off with the press review, the new vision, Al-Shabaab, USA sanctions Ugandan farm, 16 entities, individuals targeted across the Horn of Africa, still due to terrorism. Then religion, Father Gaetano Batanyenda retires after 50 years. Read about his retirement and how far he has been in clergy. Then also charters for 27 universities to be decided on this month in the Mwalimu perspective in the New Vision. Then book review, Stepping into the Unknown. Read about that. Then the 2026 elections, NRM registrars warned against corruption. Then rehabilitation, Motukula roadworks start soon as Busoga and Toro women most depressed according to new findings. Read about that report in the New Vision. Then is also a pictorial of the Vice President commissioning an irrigation scheme in Katakwi district. That is with the New Vision today. Now, the Daily Monitor is highlighting the profits from small businesses. From the bottom, with Uganda's economy suffering under the weight of prohibitive taxes, high and rising mass unemployment, among many other constraints, government makes the case for small businesses as an escape route out of the biting poverty, touting these enterprises as a vehicle for socio-economic progress. Then official in hot soup over meat ban. Which official is that? Read about it in Daily Monitor. Tragedy as 10 perish, scores injured in Bujiri crash. Then in the other regional news, fights threaten service in Kwen as palliative care offers hope for West Nile. An interesting report about health. Then you can also read about regions with best healthcare in the country named in today's Daily Monitor. As EC nominates 7 for Dokolo Woman Member of Parliament by-election. Who are those? Read about them and find out more about the by-election in the Daily Monitor. Now, homes, investment opportunities in commuter towns. Where can you tap in? That is with the Daily Monitor. Now, let's cross the borders to Kenya. We kick it off with the Daily Nation. Legislation. Kenya Kwanza lawmakers successfully throw out all proposals by minority size. No reprieve over housing pay cuts. Then Modavadi, why we settled on Raila for the African Union job. Then Kenya halts Haiti police deployment after Prime Minister resigns. Latest development, the raise plan, says the Permanent Secretary. Now also officials cash and property frozen in graft probe as investigation looms. The official is at the front page of the Daily Nation, clad in some weird coat, some weird shirt. A land row, evict Uhuru Kin in 7 days, police boss told. Then guarantors want Claric's property sold to recover 5.8 million Kenyan shillings sacco ban. That is matters to do with courts. Then lastly, the Citizen, how Tanzania can lessen poverty through growth. Then Samia Suluhu Hassan says why I opted for participatory approach in regards to the political platform. Then also, experts weigh in on government's projected 49 Tanzanian trillion shillings budget for the next financial year, as Ugandan lawyer sues Kenya for recalling East African community chief. Then Rising Woman series, Loy offers tips on how women can succeed in workplaces. Then in sport, football, Yanga Simba put on a brave face after CAF quarterfinals draw. That is it with our press review this Wednesday.
And with that, we take a short break. We'll leave you with Shiba Karunji Kamayamba.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. Olyeyo ndieno naye tuli kimu. Ebya
Today on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
Well, good morning once again. Thank you so much for sticking with Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. And good morning, Uganda, as the program that starts your day. We normally have highlights regarding topical issues that everyone in the country is talking about. We have policy leaders and opinion leaders having discussions with us on different topics. And today we are delving into the 40 years of Rotaract and its impact on the youth in Uganda. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, here to take you through, but I'm not having this conversation alone. I'm joined by Jim Mohanji Bakesi, who is the Planning and Implementation, Monitoring and Evaluation Officer, Rotaract District 9213. And together, we will look into the impact of Rotaract in Uganda, especially on the youth. I believe that if you're a youth, and if you're someone that is interested in the activities of Rotary and then Rotaract, this is a conversation that will benefit you. But also if you're not, it doesn't hurt to follow. And I believe that these two organizations have benefited Ugandans in so many facets of life, because there is no better place I know that has given back to the community than Rotaract and even Rotary itself. So, Mr. Bakesi, you're welcome to Good Morning Uganda.
Thank you very much, Monica. Good morning to our viewers.
Well, Mr. Bakesi, so when we speak about Rotaract in Uganda, we are celebrating 40 years of existence. What inspired the establishment of Rotaract in Uganda 40 years ago?
Okay, maybe before we understand what inspired the establishment of Rotaract in Uganda, we would have to go back to the reason as to why Rotaract was established.
Okay.
Rotaract was started in 1968. And the first Rotary Club was the Rotary Club of the University of North Carolina in the USA. So the reason why Rotaract was started was to get a sustainability plan for the Rotary program that was in schools, that is Interact. So they looked at a way in which they would engage the interactors that would leave school. So that's how Rotaract came into place. And the main reason was to channel the energies of young adults into activities that would positively impact their communities. So that's how Rotaract started at a broader level. But in Uganda, Rotaract began in 1984 with the Rotaract Club of Chambogo Polytechnic Institute. This was sponsored by the Rotary Club of Kampala. So from the global scale of Rotary International and the Rotary Club of University of North Carolina, they thought of how they could scale up Rotaract, and that's how Rotaract found its way in Uganda in 1984.
Okay.
So from 1984 to today, that makes it 40 years of Rotaract.
40 years of Rotaract in Uganda. Now, maybe before we even continue, could you distinguish for us the differences between Rotary, Rotaract, and Interact clubs?
Okay, I will start with Interact.
Yes.
So Interact is a program that focuses mainly on people, on teenagers. That's why it's mainly found in schools. So the goals of Interact are similar to the goals of Rotaract, because between Rotaract and Interact, it's a transition phase. So we are guided by 5 goals. The first is to develop professional and leadership skills. The second goal is to emphasize respect for the rights of others, to promote ethical standards and the dignity of all useful occupations. The third goal is to provide an opportunity for young people to address the needs and concerns of our community and the world. And then the fourth goal is to provide an opportunity for young people to work in cooperation with sponsoring Rotary clubs. And then lastly is to really inspire young people to join Rotary. So those are the 5 goals of Rotaract. And still, at the level of Interact, we look at how we can develop teenagers into future leaders, into leaders that can impact their fellow mates, people that are in the same age bracket in school. Then from school, they get to join Interact, and Rotaract, sorry, and still under the 5 goals. That's how Rotaract operates. So Rotaract mainly targets people between the ages of 18 and older, and still under the 5 goals. And usually, after achieving the 4 goals of Rotaract, like the ones I've just talked about, then Rotaractors are inspired to join Rotary.
So it's a process.
So it's a process.
You can't come from university and join Rotary right away.
You can actually join after university, but the best practice, and if you have the opportunity, it would be nice if you experience Interact, Rotaract, and then Rotary. It makes, being part of the 2 programs makes you a better Rotarian.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So how, in these last 40 years, how has Rotaract evolved in terms of membership and activities since its inception in 1984? I mean, the one for Uganda, but we can actually also speak about it on the broader spectrum.
Okay. Well, for the, in terms of membership, we started with only the Rotary Club of Chambogo Polytechnic. That was in 1984. And maybe if I could just give context, Rotaract has grown proportionately to the population growth in Uganda. So from 1984 to today, we stand at 117 Rotary clubs, and we have about 3,700 Rotaractors in Uganda.
3,700?
Yes, there are 2 districts in Uganda. The one I belong to is Rotaract District 9213, but then there is also Rotaract District 9214. So when you combine the numbers of Rotaract District 9213 and 9214, that's how you come up with the 3,700 Rotaractors in Uganda. And in terms of activities, every year Rotaract organizes activities under Rotary's 7 areas of focus. Maybe if I could just highlight some of the areas we have.
Go ahead.
The environment, we have maternal and child health, we have peace and conflict resolution. We have, okay, those are some of the 3 areas we mainly focus on. And in terms of activities, really, over the 40 years, one of the key activities I would consider under environment is the Rotaract project that is called Rotaract Earth Initiative that started in 2015. I think it's been one of the impactful projects we've had. And from 2015 up to today, we've managed to plant, we're almost hitting the target of 100,000 trees planted. And in this year alone, this Rotary year alone, which started in July last year, we've planted over 11,400 trees.
And where are these trees planted? Are they all over the country? Are they in one place? Where are they planted?
They are planted all over the country in the different regions. Every year we do a needs assessment and identify a region that is really deserving to harvest trees. So of the 11,000 trees, we've also partnered with organizations to help us create the impact, not just planting, but rather to see these trees grow and help us to deal with the issue of climate change. So we've partnered with Tree Adoption Uganda, and each and every tree we've planted in the last 6 months, that's the 11,400, these trees have been mapped. So we know where each and every tree is. We know where, how the trees are faring in terms of growth, and this will help us beat the issue of, or help to deal with the issue of climate change. But also, we've not done that alone. We've also done other projects, and the other key thing we do is we run campaigns for blood donation every year, and at the very least, every year we manage to collect 500 units of blood. And I must say that over the past 6 months, we've already hit the target of the 500 units of blood.
Wow,
Yes.
that's impressive. Now, for someone watching us and they're wondering, okay, what you're doing is pretty good, but why should I join Rotaract?
I think our value proposition falls under the goals of Rotaract that I mentioned. One is most of the young people we have in society don't get the chance to, or the opportunities to grow themselves in terms of leadership. So what Rotaract offers is that when you join, we give you the opportunity to become a leader, first of all. If one is willing, if one is intentional about developing their leadership skills, we give them the opportunity to serve. So if one belongs to Club X, let me say, they are given an opportunity, or they are assigned responsibility. We don't believe in the idea of coming to belong when there's nothing you're going to contribute. So when you find yourself belonging to Rotaract, definitely you're going to be engaged. And in the process of being engaged, you get to grow as a person in terms of leadership. You get to learn how to deal with people. You get to learn how to run projects from the point of inception to the point of termination, which I don't think is an opportunity that every youth out there can easily get. But Rotaract has its doors open to all youth who want to grow their leadership skills, but also additionally to grow in terms of their profession. You know, these days there's a very big problem of unemployment in Uganda, and the competition is really stiff.
That's true.
In the employment world. So what Rotaract does is to give an edge of people that join us over the other ordinary youth out there.
Ordinary.
Yes.
I like your choice
Yes.
of
So
words.
the opportunity in there is that they come, when they're engaged, they're able to grow in terms of their professions, because one of the things we also focus on is professional diversity. So if I'm an economist and I meet an engineer, I meet a doctor, I meet a person who is into business, that professional diversity helps you appreciate the semantics across different professions. So it gives you an opportunity to grow professionally, to learn how to deal with people, to learn how to manage people, which, like I've said, gives you an edge over the other.
Over the ordinary people.
Exactly.
To borrow back from your vocabulary. Now, how has Rotaract positively influenced the lives of the youth in Uganda in the last 40 years?
In the last 40 years? Well, when it comes to positive impact, we have a number of about over 10,000 youth that have gone through Rotaract. So from the time Rotaract started in Uganda up to today, we've managed to, through our different programs, we've managed to, under the 5 goals, we've managed to have people that have gone through the process. And even now, when you look back in hindsight, you get to see that some of the youth have been impacted. We have people that are now permanent secretaries.
Yeah, I was about to ask you to share some success stories.
Yes, we have, for example, I would give the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Water and Environment. We also have senior officers under Office of the Prime Minister. We also have people running non-government organizations. From the experience they got in Rotaract, they developed dreams, and they managed to identify critical problems that were facing their communities. So many of those are running organizations that are impacting the community. Then we also have young people doing well in business, in the business sector. And I would say for those that have belonged to Rotaract, I think Rotaract can be attributed to, in one way or another, to the people that have become today through the goals, through the various engagements we've had over the last 40 years.
Okay. And still on success stories, I'm curious to know some of the success stories you have that have positively impacted people through the Rotaract initiatives. Leave alone the people that belong to Rotaract, but through your initiatives.
Okay. I'll give just a few examples of the projects we conduct every year.
Yes.
That have really created impact. One of the projects we have is the Heartstrings project, and this is run by the Makerere University Medical Students Association in partnership with the Rotary Club of Mulago. So what they do is that every year they run a fundraiser as the medics and the association, and they manage to collect funds that are used to facilitate heart surgeries for young children. So every year they manage to collect funds that facilitate about 3 surgeries, and this has been happening since 2015 again. So that's one of the impactful projects I've noticed over time, ever since I joined. So we also have, like I've said, the Rotary Earth Initiative, where we've planted trees. We also have the Rotary Earth Initiative also focuses on primary healthcare projects, where we get to donate things like sanitary towels. We get to educate people about sexual and reproductive health. So really, I see that as an impact that has come over this number of years that we've been in operation. So outside Rotaract, I think the projects are what creates impact in communities. And maybe to give you statistics for this year, we've had 243 community service projects in Rotaract District 9213. From the clubs we have in Gulu, from the clubs we have in Soroti, from the clubs we have in the Central Region. So those 243 community service projects have really impacted the communities in which we serve. We've had Rotaract clubs single-handedly renovating schools, single-handedly renovating health centers, and for some, they have even built health centers. For example, the Rotaract Club of Kampala City built a health center in the village of Munteme in Hoima. So that's the lens in which I would look at impact.
Yeah, that's great impact, because when you mention areas of climate change and you're planting trees and then you're building health centers, you are renovating schools and whatnot, these are benefits to the community. But now I'm curious to know how Rotaract addresses challenges such as resource constraints and volunteer engagement.
Volunteer engagement?
Yes.
Well, that's a very interesting question, volunteer engagement. You know, people out there usually ask that, how do you get to manage to deal with volunteers? Because in Rotaract, we pay to serve. So you have people you collect together and you expect them to deliver results at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
So what we focus on as Rotaract is to give people the value as to why they need to be engaged, as opposed to let's say organizations where you're paid, where you know even when you don't have the energy, you have to come because of the salary.
But here, it's you who pays to serve.
Here, it's you who pays to serve. So what we do is to give people value as to why they need to serve. So we give people reasons to wake up every day to come and create impact. When someone sees a young child being operated on and them slowly getting back to good health, it gives them reason to serve in Rotaract. So that's the critical component we look at when we are trying to inspire volunteers. But also secondly, since we pay to serve and we give people value to be engaged, at the end of the day, the other thing we look at is to create opportunities for these people to grow. So if you pay to serve, at least we make sure that the one benefit you get is growing as a person in terms of profession, in terms of leadership. And you know, when you talk about impact, we've had stories where many of our members come and tell us that because I delivered on Project X, I managed to secure myself maybe a big opportunity in terms of my career. I managed to grow in terms of self-awareness. It's one thing we also promote. So because someone is engaged, the best way to find yourself is through service, from our experiences. So when you get to serve, you know as a person what works for you and what doesn't. So at the end of the day, when someone collectively puts this all together, it gives them more reason to serve as a volunteer.
Okay.
But it's an uphill task. Of course, I would not deny that.
Actually, I would like for you to expound even more on the whole perspective of pay to serve. What do you really mean by that?
One is that no one has all the resources they need in this world, right?
Yeah.
But what inspires you to give the little you have? That's why we say for us we pay to serve, because we are driven by service. If I contribute 1,000 shillings and the 3,700 Rotaractors we have in the country also contribute that 1,000, we would have about 3.7 million, right? So if that money is collectively put together, it can create something of impact. So we contribute the little resources we have to make sure that someone's life out there is changed.
And that's how you deal with resource constraints.
Yes.
Okay. Now I have a question coming in for you from Michael, who is watching us from West Nile and actually in Arua City. And he says, I must say I'm very impressed with this show, but I have a question which goes like this. What can one have to join Rotaract? Because I'm aware it seems not to be here in Arua. And what are the limiting factors that may not allow anyone to join? And how do I go about it when I'm ready to join the Rotaract?
Well, I didn't get the name.
Michael from Arua City.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael, for that question. First, I would like to confirm that there is a Rotaract Club in Arua. So, Michael, kindly visit social media. You can just type in your Facebook, in your Twitter, Rotaract Club of Arua, and you'll get details. When it comes to joining, as long as you're 18 years and you're invited or you reach out, then there is no other eligibility criteria for you to join. So, Michael, you can check for the details of the Rotaract Club of Arua on Facebook or Twitter. And once you reach out, they'll be able to take you through the process of joining that Rotaract Club in Arua.
Okay. Now, going back to impact and some of the initiatives, what is Rotaract's contribution in education initiatives and scholarship programs?
Scholarship programs?
Yes.
I'll concentrate more on the education initiatives that we've managed to do. So, in terms of education, we managed to achieve this through Rotaract clubs are of two types. One, they're institutional-based Rotaract clubs. These are, sorry, excuse me. These are found in the community. Then two, they are what they call institutional-based clubs. So institutional-based clubs are clubs that are affiliated to certain institutions. For example, the Rotaract Club of Makerere University, the Rotaract Club of Chambogo University, those are institutional-based clubs. So when we are channeling our efforts towards education, we mostly go through our institutional-based clubs. So we look at, outside of the things they teach in class, what other thing can we offer as Rotaract? Because while we managed to contribute to renovating some schools and providing a few scholastic materials, we also look at giving people those soft skills that they don't get in school. Things like public speaking, things like how to present yourself, things like how to facilitate a meeting, things like how to conduct a speech. So those are some of the things we look at contributing to in the aspect of education. Because on the other side of education, at least there are many institutions providing that.
The scholarship programs. There are many institutions providing the scholarship programs.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So what we look at is impacting on the education outcomes through delivering those soft skills I talked about.
All right.
Yes.
I think that is fair enough. You do one part, you teach people soft skills and whatnot, and then others come in with the scholarship programs.
Yes.
Now, I am still curious to know if there are any specific examples of Rotaract-led campaigns that have raised awareness about societal issues.
About societal issues?
Could be any issue.
Well, each club has its own campaign. That's what
Is that on? Is that annually? Does that change annually?
Yes, it does change. Because one of the, as a district, to operate through clubs. So each and every club out there does a needs assessment in their community. So with that, they are able to tailor their projects and their initiatives in line with what their communities require. So every club gets to do its own campaign, and as a district, one of the campaigns we've spearheaded this year is the campaign of climate change and food security through the Rotaract Earth Initiative. So we've tasked every club to plant at least 100 trees. So as a district, we come in to support in terms of exploring the partnerships we have. We have with different organizations like Roofings. So what we do is to provide them with seedlings and they plant. So the campaign we've run this year is the climate change campaign and food security campaign as a district. But every club runs its own separate campaigns. Some run campaigns on mental health, which is, of course, a very big issue. Some run campaigns on malaria. Some run campaigns on cancer. But the cancer campaign is shared through
all the clubs.
All the Rotaract clubs, yes.
Okay, okay. Well, this has been quite an enlightening conversation about Rotaract in Uganda. Rotaract was formed in Uganda, you said in 1984. Yes, and this year it makes 40 years of impact and changing and supporting communities through the different initiatives and campaigns that they run, as shared by Mr. Jim Mohanji Bakesi from the Rotaract District 9213. Now, if you want to join Rotaract, he said you can visit their social media channels and find out the details, but he said you don't have to pay anything to join Rotaract. Do you?
No, you don't pay anything.
You don't pay anything.
You may incur some costs along the way, but really, you don't pay to join.
Well, now I think, okay, I don't know if I'm a youth, I don't know if I'm suitable to join Rotaract, but if you are interested, you should really check it out because it's good to give back.
There's one thing I left out that I would like to
briefly.
Lastly, I would just love to share about our campaign, the Rotaract Uganda at 40. So this campaign, we are showcasing what we've done as Rotaract. We shall be having a business showcase on Friday. Yesterday we had a meeting, a collective meeting on the Rotary Foundation. And we shall be finalizing with the Rotaract dinner on Saturday, Rotaract Uganda at 40. So these celebrations are helping us highlight our achievements, highlight areas we need to improve, highlight the journey we've taken as Rotaract in Uganda. Then also, finally, I would love to encourage every youth out there
to
join Rotaract. It's the best decision that I doubt anyone in the ages 18 older can regret.
Well, you will not regret, given some of the benefits that you might actually achieve from joining Rotaract. If you're a youth out there, this could be a good thing for you. So check out their social media handles and see how you can join from different places in the country and join different clubs in the country. My name is Olive Monica Najuma. Good Morning Uganda continues. We have Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express with Allen Namisango coming up next.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham's Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A very good morning to all our viewers. I am Irene Alena Misang, and this is the perfect time for the GME Tourism Express, where we talk about anything that you'd want to know about Uganda's tourism. And if you are bitten by a travel bug just like me, you are that person who never wants to settle in one place. You always want to travel, going to Jinja, you go to Fort Portal, you go to Kapchora, you go to Chenjojo Lake, so many places. That is very beautiful because you get to know and you get to understand that it is really an understatement, or you could even call it a sin, if you do not say that Uganda is indeed the pearl of Africa. Uganda has so many beautiful things that you need to explore. When you look at the beautiful scenery, the amazing cultures, the food, you look at the people, Uganda has everything that you would need to explore on a safari in Africa. That is why we say that this is the perfect destination for you to explore. If you want to have the real African encounter, you need to find time and visit Uganda and explore the different and diverse beauties that God placed in our country. And if you're also Ugandan and you've not yet taken enough time to explore your very country, you need to, because it will give you more pride and you brag about being Ugandan. Because for me, I'm a proud Ugandan, knowing that I come from a very beautiful country. My homeland is the pearl of Africa. I really stand out and say that, yes, I am from Uganda. Well, a lot is really going on in the tourism industry. Last week, actually this week, Uganda Tourism Board was able to join the Global Sustainable Tourism Council. This is a council that manages all the sustainable acts or practices for tourism and travel, and it also acts as the international accreditation for all sustainable travel practices. So it was a good move for Uganda Tourism Board to join the council. But also Miss Hannah Karema, our Miss Uganda, was able to be ranked as the first runners-up for Miss World Africa. It is a plus for the country, but also the tourism sector, because she is sending out an advert about Uganda's tourism. People would want to know, where does she originate from? If someone didn't know about Uganda, they would want to know, where is it located? What is special about Uganda? Why does Uganda have such beautiful ladies? Yes, remember Honorable Chwanda used to promote Miss Kavi. It was some controversy there. People were really talking so much about it, but it is also an act of marketing. Well, going into the travel news today, we have two things that are really happening today in the travel sector. MICE. MICE is the order of the day. That is meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. And this is the form of tourism that the country is so much looking at or promoting currently, because we saw that business tourism is one of those forms of tourism that can actually bring in a lot of incomes into the country, but also generate different job opportunities and allow so many people, or a big chain value, to earn something from it. So today there is a seminar training happening at Makerere University. It is going to be at the SFEGS conference. It is going to be about MICE. So if you want to learn about MICE, if you want to get more information, but also to network with the people that are interested in the MICE sector, you can pass by. The conference is starting at 2 p.m. at Makerere University. Find time and pass by for you to get more information about the MICE sector in the travel industry. Still today, we are going to have the launch of Miss Tourism Uganda. It is happening at Sheraton Hotel at 10 a.m. So if you have times to pass by, this is an initiative where we look at having beautiful girls using their brains to promote Uganda's tourism. We merge beauty and tourism. How can we use these girls to speak out for communities, to speak out for young girls in the communities and promote Uganda's tourism, but also initiating them into the tourism sector? So the launch is happening today. We are going to search for the new Miss Uganda Tourism. Another girl will be given another opportunity to promote Uganda's tourism. Yeah, so that is it that we had for you in the travel news. And the most interesting bit of the segment is the travel attractions. Today, we are exploring some of the most common places. I know you've been to these places, but if you've not been there, you are yet to be there, because these are places that we pass by every day. We know them, but maybe we've not even given them keen attention, because we didn't know that there are also even tourist attractions. And today we are looking at the food stopovers on Uganda's highways. When you're driving through Uganda, on Ugandan roads for a safari in Uganda, or when you're exploring Uganda, you find that it is really beautiful. First from the nature of the roads, the crazy drivers on the roads, the beautiful landscapes that you're going to drive through. So many beautiful things that happen as you're driving through Ugandan roads. But the most beautiful part about driving on Ugandan highways, those are the food stopovers that we have along each highway that we have in the country. First that we are talking about is Lukaya Market. This is located along Kampala-Masaka Highway. That is the route that takes you to the western part of the country. And remember, the western region is one of the most beautiful places that you can ever visit in the country. It has the biggest number of national parks in the country. So if you're traveling to Queen Elizabeth National Park, Lake Mburo National Park, Bwindi, you be sure of stopping at Lukaya Market. This is one place where you're going to find roasted chicken, you're going to find roasted cassava, you're going to find roasted plantain, like a lot. You do not have to travel around Uganda on an empty stomach. You just know that these are delicious and very yummy pieces of chicken that you're going to enjoy along the way. So you have to snack smart as you're traveling around Uganda. Another place that we are going to talk about is Namawojolo. So this is located along the Kampala-Jinja Highway. So as you're going to that town or to the district of the source of the Nile, you're going to Mbali, the Elgon region, Kapchora. This is a place that you shouldn't really miss out on shopping at Namawojolo Market. So this place is also common for the roasted chicken, roasted beef, plantain. You also meet different drinks, fruits. Another place still along that highway is Najembe. So this is just located at the outskirts of Mabira Forest. As you're entering into Mabira Forest, you first stop at Najembe, but this one is actually the best one for me. I never miss stopping at this place, because for me a combination of roasted chicken and roasted plantain is everything for me. I can never miss out. So if you're also traveling to that eastern part of the country, please make sure that you get some time and stop over at Namawojolo or Najembe for these delicious delicacies that you can try out tasting while on your trip in Uganda. It is really amazing. And please don't stay hungry as you're traveling. Another place, and the last one for today, is Mubende Market. One thing that is common or that is amazing and fascinating about this place is that the people here that even serve you, the moment you enter into the market, you see that these are jolly people. They are ready to serve you. They are ready to give, even if you're not even buying something. For them, they are ready to serve you, to give you the smiles, to welcome you, to show you the different foods that you can really snack on. So find time as you're traveling to Fort Portal, you're going to Chenjojo, you're going to Chibale, you can stop over at Muwende Market and grab yourself something to eat as you traverse through that highway or driving through, having that beautiful road trip that you have in Uganda. And one thing that is really beautiful about these places is that you do not even need to call these people. The moment you stop, or the moment the car is stopping, you're going to see already chicken mounted on sticks, probing into your windows, already people asking you, do you want chicken, you want beef? But there are also these ladies that speak hospitably, asking you, do you want a drink, do you want a soda or water? So you find that you're only going to use like $2 or $1 and you grab yourself a whole lot of eats that you're going to spend on, or that you're going to use for the next like 2 or 3 hours as you traverse through the beautiful landscapes of the country. So this is the tip that we have for you today. If you're traveling and you find all these women selling food, selling snacks, please make sure that you buy something. You test as many foods as you can, because every time you buy something, you're supporting someone. You're taking back children to school. That 2,000 Uganda shillings or $1 that you're going to use is really going to change a life, and it's going to enable someone and something. So please make sure that you buy something and test as much foods as you can. Thank you so much. I am Irene Alena Misango, Uganda Uncovered. And coming up is Joram Paul Sonko with a business update.
Well, one thing I do know about those places, Namawo, Lukaya, is that every time you're traveling to any, or if at all you're using any route that connects to those stopovers, you will realize that chicken will be available. At times, many of us wonder whether it's real chicken or is it, you know, a wild bird that was roasted. But it's some quality, top-notch chicken, and of course beef on display in regards to nyama choma as you're going to explore Uganda. Well, it's something that you can only experience when you're in Uganda doing domestic tourism, and also for the foreign tourists who are coming into the country. Those are some of the things that you can, you know, think through. And for the business people within there, you can as well continue, you know, adding more spices into what you're doing in order to avail yourself before the potential tourists and potential clients. Well, and it's now time for Business Talk. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. Good morning and welcome on board. This is Good Morning Uganda. Well, I'm going to start off from the creative space because the world of creatives in Uganda is growing. And as a matter of fact, you will come to realize that ever since the journey of getting into digital migration, I'm looking 10 years back, 2012, so to speak, when you look back at that time where many Ugandans started to take this as a serious venture. From looking at the creative, you talk digital marketing, you look at, you know, graphic designers, you look at, you know, artists, you look at digital communications. You're looking at so many things in this particular space of creatives, not only performing arts in regards to that, but people who are practically getting huge in regards to pushing for their culture and talent. Now, speaking of which, the players in the creative industry have called upon government to put attention towards their sort of work, and of course they are seeking more government support in the same space. This was during an exhibition that was held by the United Kingdom. That is at the United Kingdom High Commission in Uganda, where the creative sector players highlighted the lack of attention, which is a significant problem in regards to rising of their sector in the country, as it has been ignored and undervalued by the government, according to many of these creatives, that the government seems not to focus on the industry, yet it has the potential of growing. Looking at the creative industry, you look at fashion, you look at digital marketing, digital communication, you look at so many things entailed in one single space, and they feel the government is undervaluing the impact it has in today's world. Now, talented individuals had been overlooked or left outside of the country. You get to realize that most of the creatives, by the way, are just trying to get back into Uganda to preach more about the creative industry, to try to uphold and help out where need be. It may not be financial, but also giving a helping hand to many of the creatives within Uganda today, especially from a small scale. We have so many of those on, in the arts and craft industry, many of whom do not have money to kickstart off their journey into the business world. And it's something that these creatives are calling upon governments to walk the talk, or to walk the talk rather, and see them get some good money, but most importantly, support, and also to see that government does value the kind of work that they do. When you also look at it, globally, the creative industry is worth $1 trillion, which according to the United Nations means that by 2030, the creative industry will be contributing 10% of the global economy. Now, that is a very huge sign as to why the government should as well set some priorities into the creative industry. Because as much as we are looking into empowering Ugandans, you want to give opportunities for everybody, especially in the social arts sector. If you want to provide room for social sciences, rather, it is always good to uphold all of these, different players within the different of various industries in Uganda. Now, the Creative Economy Week focuses on the pivotal role of creativity and showcasing Uganda's rich cultural heritage and its potential contributions to the global creative economy. So we are in the Creative Economy Week, and this is where many creatives are showcasing what they have to offer, pitching in different ideas, and then also tapping into the various opportunities that are available for them to market themselves. And that is what many have to do as startups as well as young entrepreneurs out there. Now, away from the creative industry, we head to the Nakasero market, which is located in the heart of Kampala city. Of course, when you're coming to Kampala, for all of you who have actually noticed, it is one of the oldest markets within the capital, and it is one that is actually close to what you could call high-end Kampala, because from the same you head to Kampala Road, from there, it's so close to the CBD, if I'm to put it in that way. Now, during the season of Lent and Ramadan, one would expect this market to actually be making some huge sales. However, that's not the case. Conveniently located in Kampala Central Business District, you get to realize that due to the Lent period, Christians and the Ramadan fasting month for Muslims, prices for the groceries and vegetables have skyrocketed, and so many factors are at hand. When you look at items like pawpaws, watermelon, passion fruits, which are some of the most sought after fruits during this season, especially for the Muslims, by the way, because they definitely have to break their fast late in the evening. But when you look at this, they're either out of supply. Most of these goods, like the pawpaws, you look at watermelon and passion fruits. Remember, most of the reasons as to why some of these some of the prices of these goods tend to hike is because the demand is normally high, and yet the supply is limited. And so this is what is happening occasionally in regards to these two fasting periods of the Christians and the Muslims. So for all of you who have actually been moving into various markets, if you find many of the prices skyrocketing, then there are quite a number of factors behind the same. Well, lucky enough, it's that the tomatoes have actually decreased. The onions have also decreased, the prices rather, of those two, onions and tomatoes. Those are some of the things that actually push various foods within the country. But also when it comes to, you know, breaking fast for the Muslim community, you get to realize that juices or most of these particular groceries and vegetables are also on high demand. And in situations like this, it becomes very difficult for many to access them with the fact that they are too pricey, if I'm to put it in that way. Now, despite the high demand for foodstuffs, vendors are raising the concern about the declining number of customers compared to the previous years in such a time. Of course, because it's a Ramadan period or even the Lent season, one would think it would be difficult to still get more clients because people are fasting. But during the Ramadan season, you expect the Muslim community to be buying a lot. But it's not the case this time round. But well, we shall be waiting to see if the season is done or the 2 seasons of fasting are done. What will happen to the market people? Will the prices stabilize and will they be able to get more clients and customers? I normally pass the Nakasero market like 3 times a week. And I can tell you at times there is less traffic and at times there is more traffic. It depends on seasons really. Lastly, from the world of business though, we now have our focus on Makerere University, which has launched an online grants management system that aids all researchers and students with access to grants. The Vice Chancellor, Barnabas Nawangwe, hinted that this system is meant to improve efficiency while accessing grant calls and grant details. The online Makerere grants management system will be accessed by everyone interested to learn more about these grants. According to Professor Nawangwe, for the country to develop, there is need for more researchers, and thus provision of grants, of a grant system, will be a major catalyst in helping these researchers access grants information. There is also need to embrace the locally innovated system to spark growth in the country, which Makerere University feels is the right time for us to use it. And the Makerere University Grants Management System is a brainchild of the Grants Administration and Management Support Unit, GAMSU. Well, and that's it from the world of business. But lastly, let's look at the forex market. Yesterday was Tuesday. How are the currencies faring? By the look of things, by morning time, the US dollar was buying at 3,899.67 and selling at 3,909.67. Closing time saw the US dollar buy at 3,885.63, a slight drop, and selling was 3,895.63. And then it increased in regards to selling. Now, the Great Britain pound, which was on Monday, buying and selling at 5,000, decreased because buying yesterday was 4,980.21 by closing time, while selling was 4,993.02. The euro was buying at 4,249.32, while selling at 4,260.26. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 27.90 while selling at 27.97. The Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.52 shillings while selling at 1.53 shillings, as the South African rand was buying at 207.94 while selling at 208.47 shillings. And well, that is how you will find the forex market if you're moving out to exchange some currencies. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko, and that's all from the business perspective this morning. I'll be back tomorrow to give you more details, but stick around. Good Morning Uganda continues. Chantal Oliver Kaninda is right here to give you the traffic updates.
On the traffic updates this morning, my name is Chantal Oliver Kanina, trying to make sure that you make your way to town in the easiest way possible, or keeping you updated on whether you should use a particular road or not. The unfortunate bit is, in most cases, we cannot exhaust all the routes that you might want to hear from us, but I will do my best, yeah? I'll do my best. Now, this very morning, we are starting from Ntinda. Now, that junction that takes you to the Ntinda-Chisasi Road, but also the one that leads you to the Nakawa side is where we are starting from. However, if you are coming from areas of Chiwatule, areas of Nadia, areas of Nigeria, the only time you're going to find a bit of a hold up is when you're getting closer to this particular junction. As you can see, when you check backwards, the hold-ups are not as bad as you would be thinking as you're trying to make your way to town, except for those, of course, who are also trying to leave in Tinda side, usually shortly before the Chigoa route. That is why you will be finding traffic that is moving quite slow, but you'll be able to move. Now, on this very junction, where the lights are as well, if you're trying to make your way to Ntinda Chisasi Road, if you're trying to get to Nakawa side, as you can see, you are seemingly okay to move. You have the green lines indicating that you are actually good to move, as you can see. But if I go back, trying to see if for you who is coming from Chisasi side, there is a lot of holdups in the middle there, as you can see, and then slow traffic movement in the middle there, and that is usually because where you find a school, where you find a junction, where you find traffic lights, so you'll be finding a bit of traffic. But here it is because of the junction that connects you to Ntinda main lights. Now, as we are coming down to the Bukoto Ntinda Road, the hold up is for those who are coming from town, trying to connect to other parts of Ntinda. That's where you'll be finding traffic. Short of that, the rest moves slowly onto the Ntinda Bukoto Road. However, if you are coming from Commercial Road and joining Ntinda Bukoto Road or Bukoto Ntinda Road, you're headed for quite some traffic because there's a bit of a hold up in the middle there. And as you can see, traffic moves quite slowly, but there is indeed traffic from there, as you can tell. Now, onto when we leave the Bukoto Ntinda Road onto Chira Road, definitely there is traffic. Not to worry about, but there is some traffic on there. However, if you're joining the Upper Naguru Road, you're okay to move, as you can see, until you join again the Ntinda 2 Road. That is where you'll be finding traffic if you use the Upper Naguru Road, for those that love to use access routes. Now, if we proceed on Chira Road, as you can see, you are okay to move until you are approaching, when you approach the first lights, the ones that are near St. Andrew's Church. That is why you'll be finding a bit of traffic, and that is because, one, there is lights on there, but also it's a bit of a junction, as you can see, and there is the Bukoto Chisalo Road, also mad with a lot of traffic in the middle there. And as we move downwards, as you can tell, the holdups get to be even tighter onto the Chira Road that you're trying to connect to, if you're trying to connect to Chira Road. And as you can see, traffic is terrible if you are trying to use what they call the Corporation Rise to connect to Chira Road. There is a lot of traffic on there, so brace yourself for that. And we continue downwards onto Chira Road. When you are approaching the Chira Road police station, there is not too much traffic for you to worry about. If you're coming from town, you have a smooth road to use, nothing to worry about. But trying to connect to town, definitely there is a lot of traffic. If you're going to Bukoto Street, for those who are walking inside Bukoto Street, Kanjicha Street, for Bukoto Street, as you can see, there is a bit of traffic and that is because people are trying to connect to the Lugogo bypass. So definitely you need to know which route to use as you're trying to get in there. But onto Chira Road further, you realize that you are okay to move for both those who are getting into town and those who are exiting town. However, onto Lugogo bypass, as you can see, you're okay to move. If you're joining Naguru Drive, then definitely there is a bit of a hold up in there and traffic seems to be moving slowly. Onto Lugogo bypass, the traffic gets slow and then also lets loose, as you can see from the update here. But if I'm to continue onto the Chira Road, onto Chira Road, as you can see, traffic is okay until you are getting to the Kamocha junction, and this junction is the one that usually takes you to Musizi Lane. That's the part where you'll be finding a bit of traffic. If you are using the back route of Kamocha, also there is traffic on that road, especially because of the junctions that lead you further into Kamocha. So if you're trying to use that route, maybe you should reconsider and stay on the main route that you'll be using to get to wherever you're going. And still on Tuchira Road, as you can see, it gets loose. It's not so much to worry about until you reach the junction that has the John Babiha or Acacia Avenue. That is where you'll be finding some traffic, and that is, well, it goes without saying, there has to be traffic on that road. One, the so-called roundabout was removed, and Ugandans will be driving, trying to make their way to work like they knew they had enough time usually. So please don't be among the Ugandans that think they have enough time on the road. Now, Starrock Road has a lot of traffic if you're trying to get in there. For you who's trying to get to the side of Lohana, trying to get to Bukoto Street, trying to get to Kanjisha Street, if you try to use Starrock Road, then it is mad with a lot of traffic until you get deeper inside. That is when you'll be finding it loose. Onto John Babiha or Acacia Avenue, you realize that there is not too much jam to worry about, and that is as far as the traffic updates go this morning. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Chantal Olive Akandinda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Junko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.